Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. My name's Stuart Carter-Smith and I do weekly content. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already. So this week I've been sent by the guys at Wellputt this putting mat. Now you're probably saying we've all seen a putting mat before, but I've got to say I believe this one is different, and I'm going to tell you why now. So to start off with, these guys make luxury putting mats. So they're the finest putting mats that you're probably going to see. The starter price for one of these is about £120, sort of $130. Goes right up to £15,000. So you can imagine these guys know what they're doing. They're in the luxury market and they are top end. Okay, so if you want something a little bit different from everybody else, these are the guys to look for. They do 3 different sizes. They do a 10-foot one, a 13-foot one, and a 26-foot one. Now, 26 feet is pretty serious. I mean, that would really be ideal for putting in your golf club, perhaps in the bar area, or if you've got some kind of sports day type event and you want to do some putting games or some putting challenges, that's exactly the one you want to go for. But this one is the one I would say that most people would go for in the home. It's the premium 13 feet mat, and I would say the feel of it is incredible. The rubber is great on the bottom. That's never going to wear out. As you've probably already seen, the actual mat itself, the printing is second to none, really. There's a few things. The first one that I quite like about it is it's not too thick. It's heavy and durable, but it's not a deep shag pile, shall we say. Now, I find with some of the companies which have a much deeper mat, the thing I don't like about those mats are that the ball tends to run a little groove. You wear a groove into the mat if you use it a lot, and then you find yourself having strange kind of motions on the golf ball that kind of take off on their own track, and you almost get used to putting it into a groove. Now, I know that you can brush it out and you can get it back a little bit more consistent again, but that's one of the things that I don't like quite so much about the thicker ones. Now, this one has got a lot of different features to it, which I really like. It's really engaging for your brain, it's really engaging for your putting stroke and your feel and direction. They've pretty much looked at every single angle and they've put it into a simple visual mat for you to follow on. One of the main guys attached to this company is Cameron McCormick. Now, he is Jordan Spieth's putting coach and has been since Jordan was a child. So you can imagine he really knows his stuff, and he's had 1 or 2 different drills in his time that he obviously likes using. And so a lot of this stuff has been put into this mat, either visually or in the app, which leads me nicely onto the app itself. So the app's great. It's a free app, so if you guys wanted to go and check it out and look at it, you can do so now. But what you do, you start off with tapping on which mat is yours. Now, my mat is a 13-foot premium mat, so I'm just going to click on that one. We're greeted by 3 different courses. We've got a beginner or evaluation course. We've then got the blue course, which is like a confirmed course, so that's where most people are going to sit most of the time. And then we've got the black course, which is the professional course. And underneath, we've got the scorecards to download for you to track your progress. So we're going to tap on the yellow course, and we're into the evaluation process. Now, what we've got here is a whole section of, there's about 50 different drills that you can do, or exercises, whatever you would like to call them, with this mat. And And I think the idea behind this is so good, because how many times do we just stand there and try and hole 6-foot putts on our standard mat? We just kind of go on and on and on, and suddenly you just get into this routine in your head where you kind of know the putt, and you end up just like putting, and it's almost wasted practice. With this, it changes your direction. So we're going to go from 3 different points. We've got the straight putt, and then we're going to putt across the mat from the right, and then we're going to cut across the mat from the left. Now that's helping you with direction. Now with that also we've got marker points, so we can see that our club face is square. We can see how far we're supposed to be taking it back, pretty much, and how far to kind of gauge our backswing and our follow swing. We've got those markers there, which is a really nice thing, I find, because normally I'm always practicing a dead straight putt on those mats. I get in the middle and I hit the putt, which is very much like when you're on the driving range and you're just hitting off of the mat at a target. It's nearly always like lined up for you, and that's not real. When you get on the golf course, you've got nothing basically to line yourself off from. So I think with this putting mat, it's really good the way they put these angles into it and help you line up with these angles, so it gives you a little perspective of how it changes. And I straight away found out that there was a putt that I quite often would read wrong, and when I say read, not the break, read my body position wrong. So it's quite nice. I was doing it consistently, and I thought, wow, that must happen on a golf course as well. So it was straight away quite a nice one for me. Now I've only spent probably 3 or 4 hours on this putting mat at the moment, but so far I absolutely love it. The other thing that's quite good is we've got these zones in amongst it, and so we can putt into these zones, which are some of these games that we play. We're going for pace. Now I like that because I'm a true believer of pace is everything. Controlling your pace is often as important as the line, because we never get a straight putt, very rarely. And I find especially with higher handicappers, the shots they give away are when they've got a 15 or 20 foot putt and they don't roll it stone dead. You know, they roll it 15 feet by and then miss the one back. And it's so easily done, and yet you never find a good player really that far out because they're dialed in with their pace and their tempo of their putts, and that is absolutely key until you get inside the sort of 5-foot zone. So with this mat, you've got 13 feet and you can really work on your pace. And they've got these games where you try and land them in these different marker points from different spots. Now that's quite good because you don't really just want to walk up and down and hit random putts. It's nice to get that feeling of how hard you hit it, and it's almost regimented in this way. So when we get on the golf course, we can start to get that feel and start to pick it up. The mat is about 10 on the stint meter, so it's relatively fast. So the other thing which I think is really good, because I don't know about you, it annoys me when I putt up the putting mat and I've got to go and get the balls, or a ball. I just got to go up and down all the time. Whereas with these games, they've even thought about that. They make sure that you use 3 balls, the same compression, the same kind of golf ball, so you get used to that feel and you really dial in the feel of your putts. But also you putt up the mat, and then you've got points where you putt back. So you hit your 3 up, and then you stand there and you hit them back. So that kind of does jig with your brain again a little bit, because we've got our angles coming back and our angles going up. We've got some simple systems on there, like a circle around the golf ball that you put the golf ball where you putt from, and then because the circle is a certain colour, if you look down at the ball and you can see any part of this circle, it means obviously if you can see the underside of it, your eyes are not really over the ball, and if you go over that way, you can see the top of it. I'm not sure whether this is a bit of a gimmick, but it's quite a nice little reference. If you're miles out, it will help you that way. So that's another little thing in there. We've got our pace, which is fantastic. I'm loving the idea of doing these pace putts into zones. And we've got our directional work, which are off these 3 different points. But not just 3 different points, we've got them every kind of couple of foot as well. So you've got all these points up and down. And the games themselves that you do to maintain, like, effectively a handicap with this putting system are really great, because you can actually play with your wife or your partner or your kids, and it really is very, very good. It's a fun game because everybody can hit a putt, right? And so it's not like out there trying to drill 1-irons at a target. This is a really good sort of almost family exercise. So I've kind of got away with putting the mat down and leaving it there because everybody has a little go when they walk past it. So, that's really nice, and it looks pretty cool as well. So I'm loving the app. The app is really in depth, really fun to play, really challenging, and it kind of really gets you in that zone. So for me, I think all these various different things add up to the premium quality and the feel of the map, which, you know, is great. So the one thing that I wasn't so impressed with it is you do get these scorecards on the app. What I would like to have seen on the app is a simple way of putting the scores into the app instead of downloading the PDFs of the scorecards and then printing them out and filling them out. That's fine, but I'm too lazy for all that. I'd much rather an app where I can just put my scores in and maybe it adds them up, maybe it saves them so you can look back, or you could just maybe print them out or save them as a picture, something dead simple. So I think that's something they should consider to do for the future, because I think people will use this app. I think you do get used to it. It feels like a gimmick when you start off, but then suddenly you start to try and get competitive with it. And certainly the professional course is hard. It's really difficult. And so that's quite a good challenge for all you kind of sort of single figure guys out there, or even professionals. It's a good test in that ability. So all in all, it is a bit more expensive than your standard putting mat, but it is a premium quality bit of kit which has got some good backing behind it. And I'd love to take a look at the £15,000 one. Maybe that's for a video in the future. But for now, I'm going to put the links down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe. So you'll see you next week. So the other product which I unboxed earlier is the Wellstroke, which is a putting arc mat. And it's similar to what you would see from Vizzo. Those guys have done a very popular mat, which quite a lot of the tour pros are using. I've not seen these on tour as yet, but it's quite a new product. So I'm going to take it out on the putting green, and I'll do a little review for you guys in the future. So if you guys are thinking of upgrading your putting mat, or even getting a putter mat for the first time, I can highly recommend these guys. There'll be a link down below. So that's all for this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you're enjoying the sun, and let's hope this lockdown's going to be lifted very shortly. So thanks very much again, and I'll see you next week.